Welcome to EP Daily. Today on the show, we use remote play to access the rundown.
Plus, I fire a few Hadouken blasts at the new Street Fighter V.
And then we're bound to bring you a classic cartridge review of Earthbound. Also coming up, Jose dives into the new underwater simulation game, Abzu. We continue reliving the 25 seasons of EP and much more today on EP Daily. Brought to you by EB Games. I'm your host, Victor Lucas, bringing you the latest in everything cool every single day. And in case you haven't heard, we are transitioning off of City TV and G4 Canada at the end of the year. And in the meantime, to support us, please head to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/EPNTV. Watch some content, comment on it, and please subscribe. Now, let's get to the rundown. There's going to be a new and much more convenient way to play games on the PS4. Sony Computer Entertainment President of Worldwide Studios, Shuhei Yoshida, has revealed that they're planning to bring PS4 remote play support to the PC and the Mac. That means you'll be able to play your PS4 games on a laptop or desktop computer as long as you're in the same Wi-Fi hotspot as your PS4 console. Remote play is currently available for the handheld PlayStation Vita, which is great if you want to play console games in bed or on the toilet. There's no word yet on when remote play will find its way to the PC and Mac, but expect more details soon. If you're in the Toronto area this weekend, check this out. The 2015 Canadian Video Game Awards will take place this Sunday, honoring the best made-in-Canada games. That's not the only cool thing happening this weekend. The first ever CVA Fan Fest will be taking place all weekend long in conjunction with the awards ceremony, featuring esports competitions, exhibitions from Xbox and Nintendo, and best of all, a taping of this year's Rocket and Ray Gun Awards featuring the entire EP team. We hope to see you there. Some very fun stuff to talk about in the rundown today. Here's my very fun friend, Marissa Roberto.
Oh, fun.
And we get to join our other fun friends at the CVAs and Fan Fest. And I guess that's the big news that I don't know if everybody's heard this, but we are hosting the Canadian Video Game Awards this year.
Surprise.
EP is, which is really cool. So all of us will be up on stage taking different roles and leading up a lot of the developers and the actors and stuff that always attend the CVAs. It's going to be a ton of fun.
I'm really nervous, but I'm really excited. No, but I'm really excited to meet fans that we haven't met before. Yep. I'm really excited to see fans that we have met before.
A lot of them are going to have a lot of questions about what's happening with us, and we know that, and we can't wait to talk with everybody about that stuff.
Of course, we love being open and honest
yes.
with everybody, especially our fans who have supported us for so long. So the fact that we get to see them and hang out with them, maybe have a few drinks, I don't know. Maybe. Things might happen.
Say what? Yeah, that's going to be super cool. Now, remote play is taking over the world. This first started to kind of bubble up out there. I think somebody had created an unofficial hack to be able to play remote play PS4 stuff on a computer, and now Sony is saying, well, wait a second, we're going to build the official one. And I think what's, what this is kind of ushering in, and certainly the Xbox One and the PC integration and the Windows 10 kind of harmony that they have there, I think is we're moving towards this idea of the walled garden around game entertainment, and the rest of the entertainment that we consume is kind of fading away. I mean, Apple's been doing it for a long time. You can buy a game on your iPhone or your iPad and play it on your Apple TV now. It's kind of amazing, but it also seems very obvious, and it's finally like, okay, yeah, why haven't we been doing this forever?
Derps, hello, come on.
But that's a very cool move, so good job there, Sony. Yeah. All right, now, let's take a look at a game that we're very excited about for 2016, Street Fighter V.
Street Fighter V is a new game coming at us, but I feel like I've just played a version of Street Fighter 4, Matt, so tell me what is new with Street Fighter 5?
So, very new core gameplay mechanics for Street Fighter V is all based on the variable system. Now, what's cool about this variable system is it allows for a lot of variety in gameplay and for every character to have their own individual play style. So there's three elements of the variable system. The first is a V trigger. We have a new variable gauge. If you use all of your variable gauge, you'll send your character into a powered up state. They can unleash their true potential, and it can really help change the tide of battle. You execute that by pressing heavy punch and heavy kick at the same time. So really easy to execute. Also, we have V skills. These add an extra level of utility to a character, like a new movement option, a parry, or a way of dealing with projectiles. Those can be used at any time. You press medium punch and medium kick. Really easy to execute. The last piece of the puzzle are V reversals. They're very similar to alpha counters we had back in the day. If you're under a lot of pressure, you can activate that, do a little bit of damage, and push your opponent away. So all of those combined, it's a really cool system that's very open. There's a lot of room to grow over time, and fans have been loving it. So very excited to be able to reveal that.
So the V gauge is the one where if I'm taking damage, I'm actually gaining the V gauge. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, it functions similar to a revenge meter, but some characters do have ways of filling meter up faster. So for instance, Nash's V skill, he can grab a projectile and he uses that to build meter fast. Birdie eats a donut and he uses that to build up his V gauge pretty fast.
Street Fighter V is a completely new game. We're happy to have some of our returning cast back. We just announced Cammy and Birdie. Birdie, he's from the Alpha series. Cammy's from Super Street Fighter 2 and has been a lot of the other recent titles. But what sets Street Fighter V apart from the others, it's got a lot more systems. We just talked about our V trigger, our V skill. Some things are going to give characters a little bit more in their arsenal than people are used to. So really exciting.
The Street Fighter franchise has just brought in so many people. I feel like you have so many fans around the world. So do you get all of their feedback and do you implement it into each game that comes out?
Definitely. For the first time in franchise history, we're doing a very robust beta campaign.
私の邪魔をするな。消えてもらう。我がサイコパワーに響くぜ。
We also have a very large esports initiative, so we're now in the second season of the Capcom Pro Tour. $500,000 worth of prize money up for grabs. We practically doubled the tour in size, so there's 32 spots available for the Capcom Cup. This is going to be the first time in fighting game history a single player walks away with a six-figure paycheck from a single tournament win. So really exciting stuff. You can get all the details on CapcomProTour.com. It's really great to watch. Definitely check it out.
Is it one of those games that you feel like you have to play with a fighting stick, or are you more of a controller type guy?
It totally depends. Controllers have become much more viable as time went on. I believe last year's Evo champion played on a pad, not on a joystick. So it's just like choose your weapon. Both of them are perfectly valid. It's just whatever fits your play style the best.
All right, favorite lady in the game, go.
The favorite lady would be Cammy.
Oh, it's Cammy!
Yeah.
And Cammy's back.
Cammy is back. She's one of the most fan-requested characters, so she's pretty much a Street Fighter staple. She's got a really good rushdown style, so very happy to add her to the roster.
Okay, but she's not a Chun-Li staple like Chun-Li is a staple.
So Chun-Li is definitely like our iconic character. Ryu and Chun-Li will be in just about every Street Fighter game that could ever exist. Both of them turned out really, really great in Street Fighter V. There's plenty more to come, so really exciting stuff.
To celebrate Street Fighter V coming out next year, Victor Lucas is going to show you his best Hadouken.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Hadouken! Stick around. We've got Earthbound after the break. This episode of EP Daily is brought to you by Collective Minds, the makers of the PS4 Cool and Charge stand and the Xbox One Media Hub, available at EB Games.
Hope is not lost again. You must face them. Fight them.
So Star Wars, obviously, opening very soon. Do you have your tickets? Are you excited? How are you going to celebrate Star Wars Episode 7?
I think I'm going to actually not go to the opening day. What I'm going to do is watch all the people line up, go see it, and then maybe try to get the one first thing in the morning the day after, because there'll be nobody staying in the theater. That's how I'm going to spend it.
Do you think George will invite you to his famous ranch and show it to you there?
Absolutely not.
Love Charlie Ross. That's a one-man Star Wars memory right there. If you ever get a chance to see his one-man Star Wars show, definitely do it. He is incredible.
Oh man, that guy puts in work. I was thoroughly entertained watching that thing. But listen, we've got to move on now because you and I, well, we took a look at a classic cartridge. In fact, I tried to keep your classic cartridge of Earthbound.
Today's classic cartridge is Earthbound for the Super Nintendo. Yes, we cracked open the cartridge and slapped it into our Super Nintendo to re-experience this game.
Well,
this was my personal copy that we played.
Okay, I know. You like to remind me of this because
my personal box that had the whole player's guide and everything in there.
I know, a little behind-the-scenes info. When Victor Lucas gave me the box, he said, Marissa, this is very valuable. Like, just reminding me not to wreck the box, not to wreck the game.
I bought this game in '95, and it honestly has been sitting there for a long time. I never really had the time to get into it, and I've always wanted to. And when I started thinking about the classic cartridge segment, I thought, yeah, this is a perfect one to go back. What did you think of Earthbound?
Well, this is my first foray into the Earthbound world. My goodness. And this is one of those games that you have to spend a lot of time with.
You do.
And if you had an SNES, I can't imagine not spending time in this game. It is so amazingly fleshed out. This world is huge. And it's so funny. The writing is hilarious.
I know, and it really holds up, even though there's some anachronistic gags and things like that about stuff that was more relevant in the 90s. It's still funny. You still get it. I like that you fight little rockabilly shark hair dude gang members.
But that's the thing, you fight so many odd people
You do,
and creatures,
yeah.
and there's also a strategy involved in when you approach each character or each thing,
Yep.
because you want to approach them from behind, so you can attack them first, because if they see you first, they get the first attack.
But didn't you find it to feel almost like a modern day indie game? Like
Oh, for
about
sure.
family and about dreaming and being the best person inherent in yourself and being able to face impossible odds?
Right, because you are the one true hero
Yeah.
of the story. You are the person that can hold it all together, even though no one else seems to be able to. You are the only one that can figure it out, and all your friends are along for the ride too.
But it's all done with a real breaking the fourth wall irreverence
Oh,
too, which is so
completely.
smart. I think it was a pretty mature product in its day, and I think because it was so groundbreaking, it's definitely playable. It's absolutely fun. Honestly, these old graphics really hold up. It's a beautiful game. I was really, really having a great time with Earthbound.
Well, we're saying that it holds up because all the games that we're playing now are retro games.
Yeah.
I mean, they look super retro.
Super
so
influenced by a title like this, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'm going to go back to this one. Actually, wait, hold on a second. Victor Lucas, can I keep your copy of Earthbound?
No, you cannot keep my copy of Earthbound.
Oh,
I want
great.
it back. You got your time to test it. Now it's coming back to my vault. What are you going to give Earthbound as it stands today in 2015?
I loved it. It's getting an 8.
Gets an 8.5 from me. Great stuff, Nintendo.
So cool taking a look at a game that has inspired so many others.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. Can I borrow it again?
No, you cannot. And I noticed that there are all kinds of lipstick marks on the box of the thing. You really love that game. All right, we're going to continue on with our 25 seasons in 25 days segment. This is back in season 14, Ultimate Spider-Man. Hey, we're here at Treyarch Studios in Los Angeles, California. I'm standing here with Chris Bussey, who is the creative director on the Ultimate Spider-Man. And Chris, I gotta tell you, I love Spider-Man 2, so I'm very excited about this game. But where are you taking us that we haven't been with Spider-Man before?
We're taking you right into the comic book. We're hoping to create a 3D living comic book with this game, and we really think that we've accomplished that with this one.
You guys worked with Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley. What was that experience like?
Well, we wanted to, again, to bring an authentic experience, and so bringing on the hottest comic book writer, Brian Michael Bendis, and the guy who's penned every issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, Mark Bagley, was really important to us, and they've been hugely involved.
So tell me a bit about what the actual story is in this video game.
Well, the story is in Ultimate Spider-Man, Peter Parker is 15 years old. He just got bit by the spider, and he's having adventures, and he's just trying to get through high school and trying to deal with his girlfriend and his job. And the basic idea is, what if the idea of Amazing Spider-Man happened today, where Peter was, in the original story, Peter was 15, he got bit by a spider, and over the years, in the other comic book, he's gotten older, he's gotten married, all this stuff, but in our comic book, he's still 15, and he's still trying to deal with it. So in the video game, we pick up on those storylines where he has to be in high school, but he's battling a rhino when he's supposed to be in study hall, and all these things that go on in life.
So does going with this sort of more Marvel comic direction allow you guys a little more freedoms with the storyline and getting a little more creative with who you can introduce as characters and stuff?
Certainly. We have basically the entire Ultimate series to deal with. In this game, for example, you get to play as Venom, which is something that you've never been able to do before, and I think that anybody who has been a fan of the comic is totally going to be excited about that.
Are the web physics the exact same as they were in Spider-Man 2? They're pretty awesome last time.
They're basically the same. We did some tweaks to make it a little bit more accessible to all gamers. We wanted to bring in a wider audience, not just your hardcore gamers, and we thought that we've done a good job with that.
That's awesome, man. I can't wait to be swinging around in this comic book world.
Hey, you want to see something cool?
Yeah.
I've been playing this game so much, I've actually developed web powers.
What?
Here you go, man. Aren't you thirsty?
How did you do that?
Well, you know, you play the game enough, you get to know Spider-Man quite well.
Thank you for the water.
My pleasure.
Oh, that's very cool. I love what you guys have done with the paneling for telling the story. Tell us how you're working the comic book.
Yeah, that's a big part of bringing the 3D comic book to life. We've got them, you know, where you'd expect, which is in the cinematics for each of the intros and extras of all of the missions, but we've also brought them into the game. And so while you're swinging down the street as Spider-Man, there might be somebody in trouble over on the side of the street, and a little panel will pop up letting you know that there's danger that you've got to go take care of.
You know, in a comic book, you get the panels, right? And the reader fills in those spaces in between the panels. It's not like perfect timed, you know, there's all that white gutter, and that's the audience filling it in. And in the video games, the player is filling in the story with his thumbs and moving the character around. And I saw the connection between the two, and I just started applying it to how I was developing the scenes.
The finishing moves that I saw in Spider-Man 2, you know, you're beating up on the bad guys and spraying them and stuff.
Yeah.
Anything kind of similar this time?
Yeah, we wanted to simulate that when Spider-Man is fighting normal people,
Yeah.
that he pulls his punches. And so he's got to kind of finish people off with this web subdual move and kind of keep them in. Here, let me show you. Hey, John, you got a second?
Does everybody here at Treyarch have this ability, man? I think this is incredible. I want to have the power. I want to be able to swing around. And do I need a job?
This interview is over.
Love looking at these 25 seasons and 25 days segments. That game was incredible. And if you want to get caught up, we have a whole playlist on our YouTube channel where you can watch them all in order. That's at youtube.com/EPNTV.
Don't go anywhere, because after the break, Jose is getting wet with Abzu.
This episode of EP Daily is brought to you by Collective Minds, the makers of the PS4 Cool and Charge stand and the Xbox One Media Hub, available at EB Games.
Welcome back to EP Daily. Before the break, I may have mentioned that Jose was going to be getting wet in this next segment.
Did, yeah.
Yeah, that's not dirty.
Not dirty at all, right? Okay, well, this next game actually has pedigree from that game company. It's called Abzu.
I have always been a huge fan of anything aquatic, and now I get a game that takes me deep under the seas. This is called Abzu. Tell me a little bit about what we are doing in this game that's going to take me so deep into the ocean.
So Abzu is an underwater exploration game. You're a diver who's lost and has to go deeper to discover her true past and her true purpose. As you go deeper, you'll discover more and more species and lots of secret areas and secrets in the ocean.
How exactly does that work within the diver's world? Because if you're finding the meaning of life supposedly underwater, how is this going to interact and showcase on the game?
The diver is this mysterious character. You don't really know who she is or what she is, and as she goes deeper, she's going to develop a connection with the sea life that she discovers, and also robotic drones, and those relationships are going to evolve and really define who she is as a character.
So being that this character is underwater, what kind of actions and movements are we going to be able to play with?
The diver has a really kind of different control scheme than most underwater games. You're completely free to spin in complete loops. We don't lock your pitch. There's no gravity that's pulling you down. You're completely neutrally buoyant in the water. You get this really weightless, free sense. And that was really important to us. We want to make sure that just swimming in the water is this really fun, free act and really lets the player just linger and get lost and immerse themselves in the ocean.
Underneath the ocean, it's a huge place. Is it easy to get lost, and can you just find yourself wandering around the same place for a long time?
I think that it's really important for us to find the right balance of self-guidance and narrative through the environment that guides the player forward. We do a lot of play tests to make sure that we just have the right amount of being lost in the ocean, the right amount of knowing where to go. And we also design the levels very specially so that you kind of already know where to go without even thinking about it. It's a very fun process.
I'm going to play this game until I find Atlantis, because I know it's down there. Atlantis is always at the very, very bottom. You just got to keep going. Is it possible to is there an end? Is there a finite bottom to your undersea adventure?
The diver will have to discover that for herself, let's say.
See, it's down there, trust me. Just keep looking. Just never give up.
That's part of our look at some of the games that are coming out in 2016, and I'm very excited about Abzu. I can't wait for that title.
Don't go anywhere, because after the break, it is the best part of the show you've been waiting for, the Twitter question of the day.
If you want more EP, go to our website, epn.tv, for bonus content and full episodes. We're also on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to EP Daily. It is now time for the best part of today's show and every show. Of course, it is a Twitter question of the day. This one comes from Gavin Greenlee. He is at G Greenlee. He says, since you guys have a toy table, would you start something for comics? Victor Lucas.
Yeah, I love covering comics on EP. We try to do it as much as we can, and obviously I'm taking a look back at all of our previous seasons for this 25 seasons, 25 days segment. We've covered comics a lot over the years, but the truth is the comics are, with all the movies and TV shows and games that we have to consume, it's harder for me personally, because I'm the big comic guy on the show right now, to read all of the stuff. I'm reading Saga, though, and I recommend everybody read Saga right there.
Yeah, that's a big one for you, for sure. We did cover on the show a lot before. It's a little tougher sell with the comics, I think.
Well, it's just like finding the time to get them, finding the time to get the assets, and it's something we will endeavor to do more of, for sure. Good question. If you've got one for us, head to our website, epn.tv, or you can get caught up on all kinds of great EP content on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/EPNTV.
We've got more coming for you in the next episode of EP Daily, including our review of Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
EP would like to thank its sponsors, Nintendo, Xbox. EP's mobile coverage is brought to you by Gameloft, makers of Asphalt 8 Airborne, which you can play on your Android or iOS device for free right now.